Been getting a lot of zucchini here in the garden. A lot of peppers and goodies. Lots of goodies. Lots of basil. Just in a few weeks. Probably 3 weeks altogether. A lot of parsley. And the cucumbers are looking really, really good. They're growing all over the place. I haven't looked down inside the leaves to see if there's any actual cucumbers, but I see a lot of flowers. And the tomatoes, well, they're coming along. They'll be a little late this year. I think it's the 3rd right now of July. And very often I have tomatoes, ripe tomatoes by the 4th of July, but this year I got my garden in a little later, which is fine. It happens. I have something here, though, that I wanted to talk about. And I'm happy to say I've got a breba getting ripe here. Get through the net. Again, it's about the 3rd of July. And we're going to pick this handsome breba. That's a beauty. Okay. Look at that. Glisteningly delicious, I'm sure. This is that tres d'espèce I tried to pronounce the other day. Again, I was saying that I like Ronde Bordeaux far more. But it stays in my collection. I haven't thrown it out yet. It does tend to crack more than Ronde Bordeaux, and the flavor is not as intense. It's just as early as Ronde Bordeaux. Sometimes it makes a few brebas, and Ronde Bordeaux generally does not. I only got a few over the years of breba with Ronde Bordeaux, but I actually have gotten a couple. There's always outliers, there's always anomalies and everything. Let me give this a taste. Well, I've only had Peter's honey, fresh ripened figs already, a breba, and so this is like my second variety. So I've got Feliciano Bianca there to have a few ripe ones on it. So any fig is a delight when you've been waiting all winter long to taste a delectable, fresh from the tree fig for so long. And this one was very good, but I wouldn't rate it real high on intensity of flavor or sugar. I would eat them all day long if I could. So it was certainly acceptable. Very, very good. But not as good as other fig varieties. But in all fairness, we've gotten a lot of rain. We just had 2 inches of rain 2 days ago, and that always affects the intensity of the sugars and the flavor of figs. So if it had been dry, it would have been a little better. But I've eaten those the last couple of years, and it's a nice little tree. I can't criticize it very much. It's just a good producer. It's going to stay here in my collection for a while. But again, it doesn't rank real high. Now, I've got these Feliciano Bianco Feliciano Bianca figs are very much like Desert King, as I've explained before. This one's pretty ripe. That one's pretty ripe, ready to eat. I see some more back there. Let me see if I can get back there. Uh-oh. I see a bird got to. I can't believe it. Even with a net over my tree. I guess that net wasn't down far enough. Wow. I don't like when that happens. Look at that. Ants. The birds ate away at it. And I was saving this. These are good figs. Get rid of these ants. Well, that's one I'm not going to taste. Well, these things happen. If one thing that you can always rely on this planet Earth, there's no such thing as perfection. Let's see. That one's not quite ready. This one's not quite ready, so we're not going to really eat any Feliciano today. I could cut that one up. Let's see. Hold on one second. Been easier to pause that. All right, cut out all the bad part where the bird had penetrated and where the ants had gotten in. And so there we are. We have a ripe, what's left of it is a ripe Feliciano Bianco. I'm going to give it a taste. San Pedro fig that I've talked about. Very tough, reliable fig. Very vigorous grower, grows faster than all the other varieties. Very prolific, very cold hardy. The breba, since it's a San Pedro, is the only decent crop. This one does have a few, unlike most San Pedros, this one does ripen a few of the main crop figs, but they're not very good. They're completely different in characteristic than the breba. The breba are far superior. The breba overwinter very well, no matter how cold it gets. If the tree doesn't die back, and it rarely ever does, without protection, if it doesn't die, if the breba don't die back, they come to fruition. They just hang on all through the winter, and they don't get damaged like a lot of other varieties do. So that's a very important characteristic that distinguishes this fig from other figs. If you like breba, and of course, who doesn't? That one, that is good. That was far better than the other. That was excellent. I can't wait for the rest of these. They're getting ripe, so it's not going to be long. Another day or two, I'll be eating these, and there's lots and lots of them on there, so I'll be eating a whole bunch of them. All right, now I've got a few Peter's honey that are ripe, so let me put you on pause, and we're going to go over that way. These are all main crop figs, and they're not ready yet. Okay, here we go. Very peaceful out here. I don't know how that bird got through that net. I guess I didn't have it down enough. Okay, so now we're over at the Peter's Honey, and we're going to pick a beautiful breba. There we go. Darn ants. And no harm done. Let me break this open and see what we got here. Peter's Honey. There's more up there that are ripe. I've eaten a couple already. They're pretty early. Around the 4th of July, a little before. Let's get this one open. Okay. There we go. Beautiful. Let's see how this one tastes. It's like so much better, actually, than even the Feliciano. Wow. It's just... I love these. It's explosively delicious. Yeah, there's another term. I like that. Explosively delicious. It's what I was thinking of. Really. I haven't had my coffee yet. So please indulge me. I'm a little lethargic. Look how beautiful this is only a couple years old. This is Improved Celeste, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? And look at all the figs on this tray, this little tray. Look at that. And I love Improved Celeste. I do. It shouldn't be called that because it's not Celeste. And it's not Improved Celeste because it's not in Celeste. It's separate, it's different. Similar. But hey, it's called Improved Celeste. Fine. Everybody knows what it is. Some people get it mixed up with O'Rourke quite often, and so do the nurseries, unfortunately. So you have to really be careful because you sometimes just don't know if you're getting Improved Celeste or O'Rourke. But I have both, so you can look at the videos. Here's that tree I planted some time ago in a video. Was it? I don't know. Quite a ways back. 8-10 days. I don't remember exactly. But this is Pastigliari. And you can see I showed that I was planting, how to plant it, and this and that about the process. I took it out of a pot. Last year I had it in a pot. This is its 3rd year alive. It was a cutting the year before. And last year it produced fruit. None of them fell. I made a video about that. This fig variety is notorious for dropping its fruit the first few years, most of the time. There's several different versions of it out there. One of them requires caprification, the fig wasp. Others are variants that are more common, more like common figs, and they will hold on to their fruit eventually, but most of them drop it in the early years. I didn't get any drop off last year, but I put a lot of things in my mixture. Volcanic ash and minerals and finely crushed oyster shells. I put magnesium and Epsom salt and iron and calcium. I put good earth, good topsoil, the good earth I put in there, which I always put into my mixtures, my potting mixtures. I added lime and compost, kitchen compost, organic, and also well-rotted horse manure. I put all those things in there, and this is my elixir of fig health, I guess I'll call it. It's my own little recipe, like many gardeners have their own recipes for their mixtures. Mine is different than everyone else's, of course, and most everyone else's is quite a bit different. I don't rely heavily on commercial potting mixes. Maybe I have 50% or 40% of the potting mix, commercially purchased potting mixes in my mixture. No more than that. I certainly don't rely on them exclusively. I have my own blend, and I have videos on the subject. And I didn't get any drop-off last year. None. And only its second year, and this is now its third, the beginning of its third. And you can see that it has figs on it. It's a beautiful little tree, and it's been able to weather the transplanting process very well. It's adapting very well. It's very healthy, and I'm very, very excited about this addition to my fig orchard. This is my front, I call it my front side orchard. With I've got quite a few varieties in here, and a good many figs. And so I don't have much space. This is all the high and dry ground I have left. And I would go over more, but I can't, because Debbie would be after me. And so I had to sneak one in here and there. And I snuck in a couple this year. That one, and this little guy here, this little new Ronde Bordeaux, which is doing well now. It's really taking off and has new growth. You can see that. I made a video how I kept a green basket over it with slits in it, so that because I was late, very late in transplanting it, which is never good. But I got it through, and it's going to succeed. It's going to succeed beautifully, and so is this one. And I'm looking forward to this being part of my orchard and an addition to my collection in the ground where I prefer them to be. And I just know this has a reputation for being very cold hardy, I'm told by several reliable sources. And I think that it's going to just be a wonderful tree, just like the rest of these trees. I think it's going to do very marvelously well in the future. And I've welcomed it into my little orchard here, into my collection, with relish and with great anticipation. And I just can't wait for it to get larger and more healthy and prolific like the rest of these trees, and start to produce a great many figs. But I can't wait for these figs to get ripe either. And they're going to, and they're going to be delicious in the ground. They were good. They were good last year in the pot. So with that, I don't have much else to say. Oh, I see another, I think, right, Peter's honey. I put this net a couple nights ago over this. This one looks like it's pretty ripe. Yeah, oh gosh. You know what? I'm going to risk the birds getting it, but I think I'm going to wait one more day for that one. I want it to be perfect. I really... Oh, what's that over there? There's another one. Look at that. See it in there? I don't know if you can. Let me get under all these branches in here. It's like a jungle. Let me see if this one's right. Bring it up there. Oh, it's hanging down. Oh, it's so close. Wow, it's so close. Wait one more day. I'm going to wait another day for that. I'm not going to destroy with my overzealous nature. Sometimes oh, I see another one. Wait a minute. Look at that. Right next to the house. Let's take a look. Ooh, look at that. That one looks really, really nice. Hold on a second. Let me get my hand around that for scale. Oh, wow. Here we go. Look at that. Another ripe treasure. A true treasure. See, this is what I love. I love this. This is so exciting. I just love this. Oh, look at that big one up there getting ripe too. Look at that one. You see it? And another one behind. That other one behind it looks ripe. I didn't see that. This one here. Let's tear into this. This one I can't eat because I have to give this one to Debbie. Let's open it up though for everyone to see. Look at that. Glistening beauty. Glisteningly delicious. I I'm so impressed. And I so love Peter's honey. Even though we had a tremendous amount of rain a couple of days ago, there's no cracks, as you see. It's, again, I plant my trees high and dry, the highest part on the property I can find. It's always a good advice. That's my advice, for what it's worth. Always plant your trees on the highest ground, as high above the water table as you possibly can, because it's easier for you to control the water that way. When it's low, when you plant it in a low area in your yard and it rains, what are you going to do to drain off the water? You can't do anything. If the ground is very, very wet, if the soil is saturated, big farm truck. If the soil's saturated, what are you going to do? Nothing. But if it's high and dry, it will dry quicker, and so your fruit will be of higher quality, and it will dry out faster in hot weather, and you have to water once in a while. But so what? You can control that. Okay? You can add the water, but you can't take it away. So that's why you see no splitting. Some people would plant this tree in the wrong location, and other fig trees. And then they would maybe complain that, oh, well, it cracks, it does this, you know. Well, what about how much rain did you get? How wet was the soil when the figs got ripe? Did you plant on the highest part of your ground, which I keep trying to encourage you to do, okay? High and dry, okay? So that you could maybe maintain as much control as possible on the water aspects, the watering aspects of growing figs. Now, can I reach back here? The hedge is in the way, and the ladder's in the way, and okay. Let me get, there's that fig that I'm going to bring into Debbie. Isn't that beauty? It's a beauty, isn't it? I don't know if I can reach back here. I'm going to try one time and see if that is a right fig back there. Oh, wow. Beautiful fig. Beautiful. They're beautiful, but that one's not ripe either. So we'll have to wait until tomorrow. But I can wait. I can be patient. I'm going to get a lot of figs now. So let me take this in to Deb. And thank you for visiting. I'm very excited. I hope you enjoyed this short visit and chat. Everything's just doing well. The garden, everything's producing. The strawberries were good this year. The blueberries were good this year. Everything is working out really, really well. I'm very, very pleased with the results. And I'm going to have a tremendous amount of main crop figs, as you can plainly see, all over the place. So I'm very, very excited about that too. And I'll be making preserves, and Debbie will be making her fig cake and cookies and things that we make with the figs, and we'll dehydrate some of these and put them in the refrigerator for when it gets cold, and all of a sudden we have this enormous craving for figs and we don't have any, so we'll just go in the freezer and get out the dehydrated ones. Of course, we buy them too at the supermarket, the dehydrated figs. Of course we do. I just buy figs all year round. I eat a lot of figs. Don't you know? Can't you tell? So with that, it's going to be the 4th of July tomorrow, I believe. And so have a wonderful holiday. I hope you have a great time. I'm going to. Good day.